welcome along to this short highlights report from the NALS Conference 2013 in London. Times they are a-changing in the private rented sector, and today is all about refresh your knowledge, refresh your business.
We meet at a time when there's an awful lot going on for the private rented sector and for managing and letting agents.
I think it's very important to take the day out, and interestingly the conference falls into the two parts because this morning we've had a whole range of speakers who've been talking about the background and the context and the policy development, and this afternoon we're focusing much more on helping agents improve their businesses. So we're looking at people, we're looking at media handling, we're looking at risk management.
If you look at the supply challenge that we have, it's being fuelled, as I say, by this big increase in the capital's population. It's really striking that between now and, we estimate, 2031, the capital's population will grow in excess of 10 million.
I mean, what we've been working on is a framework for the whole of London that will include agents and landlords, and will clearly set out in 12 simple steps what tenants should expect, and indeed the rights and responsibilities of both agents, landlords and tenants. So it's fully understood, and there's more coherence, clarity and transparency. And we've worked very closely with NALS and other bodies on the syllabus, on those 12 points, to make sure that they're right and deliverable, and we're looking forward to now implementing this, so you get this kind of gold standard being introduced in London that people will understand and will really drive consumer behaviour going forward.
The one thing I would warn about is, I don't know how many of you have actually analysed in your stock how many accidental landlords that you're sitting on, because potentially as prices start to go up, and certainly when interest rates start to go up, those guys can just sell straight away.
One of the issues that we have with our industry is that it tends to be too short-term focused. And when I'm talking about that, some will only worry about the next 3 months. And during a difficult time that we've had, financially, of course, that's understandable. But that's not a way to run a business long term. You've got to be looking at least a year in advance, and really you need to be looking 5 years ahead. And it's days like today that help you do that.
One of the advantages an ombudsman has over the courts is that we're much more flexible, we're much more accessible, we're much cheaper, and actually we're cheaper not as ombudsmen are free to the complainant, but actually using an ombudsman is cheaper generally for a company than it is if you have to go and defend something in the courts.
It's very important that meetings such as this bring together agents and other people who are stakeholders in the property sector to understand what's coming down the line, what commitments and liabilities they're going to be taking on.
Particularly, as Ombudsman, we look at what is fair and reasonable in the circumstances presented to us. Now that might seem to be quite a wide-ranging power, but clearly we will apply that in a consistent fashion. And of course it means fair and reasonable for the agent as much as it does for the consumer.
The industry touches on so much, and I mean, a good lettings agent is also using the kind of people that are exhibiting here in this room to make their practice better by using sort of decent communication methods, for example.
What people are talking about now is sometime between the last quarter of this year and 2014, the amount of data that's accessed on a mobile platform will exceed desktop search.
When we look at our high street and our online retailers who are already a little bit ahead of this sector, the improvement in conversion rate when they actually embrace mobile is phenomenal. So we're looking at, say, a 45% increase in conversions in certain sectors by going for a far more targeted mobile approach. And if we can take a little bit of that kind of experience and apply it to this sector, I'm really confident those early adopters will see the benefits.
Becoming a NALS agent was sort of an endorsement of what our company had achieved, and a reminder of how far we'd come. So we felt it was a stamp of approval, so it was quite a proud moment when we got the accreditation. Passion will take you quite a long way, but when you've got someone else endorsing you and actually stamping you, it's actually a very, very powerful message, and that's what I've found in the last year.
I think it's an endorsement of maybe where we've come from and what we've achieved, and how we've made use of that accreditation.
Yes.
And obviously to be invited to speak, sort of like the icing on the cake, so hopefully I can give a positive outlook of what it is to be a NALS agent.
But that was a really great end to today. I've got to thank everybody here. You've been a great audience.